Pretty embarrassing loss for the Lakers tonight, who struggles continue, guys, suffer a 134-93 loss to the Miami Heat. It is now their largest deficit on the season. They lose by 41. Previous largest deficit was on Monday to the Timberwolves. You see where we're going with this, 29-point loss. And we can talk about the offense or lack thereof, big game, all we want, but there was a lot to be desired on the defensive end, and we're talking about effort. I'm going to give you these 3 quick hitters for you. The Miami Heat, all-season highs when it comes to points at 134. They tie a franchise record with 24 threes, outscored the Lakers by 57 from downtown, and a season high in assists at 42. Where do you begin?
There's really, it's really no words to explain it other than it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. This team came out of the box early season against some subpar teams, and they were able to win, and I think they kind of gave us hope. But since they've hit the teams that mean something, it's pretty bad when you're going to lose games in the NBA. But how they've been losing, it's unacceptable on the effort part. You're going to miss buckets. Offensively, you're going to have bad nights. But defensively, if you're not challenging mentally and physically your opponent, they're going to run over you. Like Miami's a serious team. And so I don't know, man. This trend is not cool. And it's just not cool. I mean, they need to get on the bus tonight and get some White Castle burgers and drive to Atlanta. And they need to think about who they are and what they need to do, because what they're doing right now ain't even close to Laker basketball. Not even close.
To me, when you watch how the Lakers have played the last couple of games, it reminds me of some teams when they're mad at the coach and they're trying to get him fired. And it's just what it looks like, man. And I know they love JJ, and I'm not saying that they're trying to get him fired, but it just looks like an uninspired team. It reminds me of a team I played on when next thing you know, Dale Harris got fired. And we got Kerr, and then next thing you know, win a couple of championships. But they need to find a way to find some type of spark, because the spark is not there. It's almost like, to me, I think about guys on that bench that can provide energy. There's not an energy guy on this bench. And so I'm thinking sometimes you need to, mix some things up or muck some things up. And I'm going to bring up quickly from the G League, a guy who has a lot of energy, a lot of passion. You missing a point guard, and AR, bring this kid up. I'm going to give him a shot to bring some energy, because he's going to take advantage of his shot. And to me, everybody right now just look like they're like, yo, I'm waiting for this. Oh, hey, I'm like, should I say it? 1, 2, 3 Cancun? Is it a little too early? But it just looks like they don't have the energy. That's not inspired, and they need to find a way to get that love of winning back.
That's the thing that I think, too, when you think of, for example, the other night in the locker room, Anthony Davis saying, at times we look like we can beat anyone, and at other times we look like we're, what do you call it, terrible? Disgusting.
That's what he said. Yep.
And I think, too, this is the 3rd or 4th time we've talked about energy and effort with this team. You can be shorthanded and still play hard.
This early in the season, too.
Yeah. Ellie just showed the graphic of all the blowout losses so far this year. 4 of them have been in the last 11 days. They've gotten progressively worse, from a 25-point loss to a 27-point loss to 29 to 41. And it's one thing to say, look, they made some threes, which they did, but there were a lot of open threes that they had. Tyler Hero made 7 in the 3rd quarter alone. That's too many. Lakers got outscored by 57 tonight from 3-point range. Man, that's got to be close to a record too, James. That's a massive disparity from 3-point land. It's like you're playing in a football game. One team has 10 touchdown passes, one team has 1. There's no way to win if you're going to be outscored that badly at the 3-point line. Allie, Lakers got to be really careful, because you don't want this to keep sliding. Mm-hmm. And Atlanta in 2 days, that's a young team that's going to try to run them off the court. They've got some good young wings, too.
And they've been playing really well as of late.
Yeah, they're around 500, but there's some pieces there that could really give the Lakers some trouble in just a couple nights.
We know what it's like having a guy on your squad that can heat up, especially from deep. Obviously, You mentioned the 24 threes we're talking about for the Heat. Tyler Hero had 9 of 16 from downtown. By the way, this is a guy that is established in the league. You know he's a shooter. It kind of takes us back to the night Will Hardy of the Jazz said it felt like everyone in the gym knew when Dalton Connect was catching it, that ball was going up, except his own team. And that's kind of what it felt like tonight, Rob.
It definitely did. You know, if you think about all the highlight we just showed, one contest.
One contest. I was going to say the same thing, Rob.
A lot of open threes.
And that alone lets you know that there's a communication problem on the defensive end. If you talk about one of the things the Lakers are always hanging their hat on is their ability to play defense. And you think about this, you have one of the best shot blockers in the game that is back there for you. And your perimeter guys aren't nowhere to be found. It's like you can't let Tyler Hero. And that's one of the things that guys have to do defensively. I know this is not a defensive league anymore, but take some pride in trying to stop somebody because that's the only way you're going to win. You can't give up 130 points to the Miami Heat. This ain't a scoring team. This is a defensive team. And you give up 132 points. So that lets you know right there, 134, I'm sorry. I was shorting them to make them feel better.
But yeah, how many in the third? How many in the third again?
It's just they need to, I agree with James totally. Right now, they need to just sit down in that locker room and say, no, who cares if AR is out? It starts here with each person. You look in the mirror and say, we got to find a way to lock our guy down. Take some responsibility. Back when we play, I know I hate to go back in time because it's a different day. Everybody had a guy. And we ain't switching because I want to shut him down. I'm going to take pride in locking this guy up. And you look at this Laker team, they got guys that can lock guys up if they want to. So take some pride and say, no, coach, we ain't switching tonight. Everybody got the responsibility of the guy who's going to start the tip off.
It makes your defense lazy. When you know you're going to switch, it makes it kind of lazy because you're just handing off and you're not as aggressive. So I know there are times when you have to switch, but it's okay to fight over some picks sometime too. But just the absence of intensity. And we've talked about this several games. The absence of intensity at an NBA level. I can see if you have absence of intensity in like a Pee-wee game or a junior high game, but in the NBA, to have the lack of intensity, you're going to miss shots. You're going to get burned on defense sometime, but the shots that were uncontested and the second opportunities they got that's just embarrassing. I hate to say it. That's the only word I can come up with.
You guys know that you win as a team, you lose as a team, but you also know that it starts and it ends with your superstars.